time I saw you, we made these little centerpiece tins. And today what I'm going to show you is things that you can pop in them to put on your table and make a nice display. So today we are going to do a Jubilee flag. Now, I know you could probably buy these, but I'm going to show you how to make one anyway. That's a Union Jack flag, I should say, not a Jubilee flag. And some flowers. So there is one ribbon rosette flower. There is one sort of flat daisy flower. And that's made with felt. And there is one that is slightly gathered, again made with felt. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So since I last spoke to you, I've taken on organising our village Jubilee picnic in a week. So it's been a bit hectic over here. I'm just going to turn the camera down and get started straight away for you. So just bear with me while I make some space and turn my camera down. I can't actually see your comments today, unfortunately, because I'm just not properly set up. It's been very, very hectic. So leave comments, please do, and I will read them all afterwards and reply back to everybody. Okay, so can you see what I'm doing? Let me just move it a little bit more so you can see my workspace. Okay, so we're going to start with the Union Jack flag. And basically this is on the same principle of a lot of the other things we've done that have Union Jacks on. It's a navy blue background and then it's got red and white strips overlaid on it to make the Union Jack effect. All you need for it are red, white and blue paper. This is slightly thicker, the blue. That makes quite a good flag base. The other is just ordinary paper. And we're going to cut it into strips. We're going to cut a 1/2 inch strip of red, a strip of white that is slightly bigger, so it's sort of like 3/4 inch, and then our flag shaped strip is just about 2 inches by what is that? It's by 8, so it's 2 by 8. So I'll show you how to put them together. So you can cut them using scissors. You can cut it using I did mine on this cutting mat, which is getting a little bit tatty now, I've noticed. So once you've got your strips cut, your red and white strips, what you want to do is layer them up. And for this, I used a glue stick. Not my usual trusty glue gun because it is a little bit hot, the glue gun for this, and the paper's a bit thin. So just glue your red strip on top of your white strip. For some reason, my white strip is shorter than my red strip, but it is long enough for the purpose. And you stick them on so you've left a border. And you do that several times. I think here you'll need, there are 8 strips on each flag. And I think you can get 2 flags out of 8 strips. You can get 2 flags, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 6 here. That is probably going to be enough for my flag. So with your blue card, you just fold it in half to create your flag shape. And then you layer over your strips. So as before, I'm going to slightly overlap them. So with the diagonal, you end up with a long piece and a short piece. And your short piece is enough to do your horizontal strips. So you will have enough. If you do 8 strips, you'll have enough. Hopefully I'll have enough as well. So I'm going to cut the 2 diagonals first, horizontal. No, diagonals, yeah. And then I'm going to stick them down. And again, I'm just going to use the glue stick because it will dry quite quickly. And when it's just paper, you don't really need a hot glue gun. So just, and then stick them on. From corner to corner like that. Oops. That's the first part of your Union Jack done. Now the next bit I'm going to put on is the horizontal piece, which I'm going to measure more accurately because you don't have to worry about trimming at the corners. So, and put that across the centre, right across the centre. I'm getting really good at Union Jacks now with all the things I've been doing. And as I say, because I've now got to organise my village picnic, We left it to the last minute, hoping somebody else would take up the baton, but they didn't. So if you want, when you trim from the back, because you can see just how much it overlaps then, and it's easier to cut off your excess. I'm just going to do the one side of this one because the back is just exactly the same as the front. Get rid of these little strips of paper so they don't stick to everything. So what I've used for my flagpole, if you like, is a bamboo skewer. I use these a lot. These are the sort of things you would make kebabs for your barbecue. So what I would do then, so we've got this pretty much secure. This is where your glue gun will come in. And mine's not quite ready yet, but it'll warm up in just a second. Decide how long you want your bamboo skewer to be. I usually like to just break off the end with a point because it's a bit, it's pointy. You can hurt yourself. Then you just pop your skewer inside your flag. Actually, we could probably still do this with the glue stick again. Put glue all over. You're probably best doing this not on your cutting mat because you'll end up with glue on your cutting mat. But as I say, mine's getting quite tatty now, and I think it's time I had a replacement. So put your stick in the middle. Don't have it come right up to the top because you want to hide that end. And just fold your flag over it and just seal it down. And that is a very simple way to do a flag. As I say, you could probably buy cheaper flags, or you could buy flags. However, I found just now, this close to Jubilee, it's really difficult to buy anything in red, white and blue. Everybody seems to have suddenly gone Jubilee mad and it's all gone. But there we go. Quick and simple. That's a flag you can put in the centre of your table. Let's put that to one side, let it dry. So next we're going to move on to this pretty Rosette Flower. And again, I've used the bamboo stick and I've glued that one on. Now I am going to use the glue stick this time, so I'm going to get it primed and ready. Not the glue stick, the glue gun. See, I'm not with it today. Move my flag out of the way. Now for this we need the ribbon we've been using all the way through our Jubilee decorations. My ribbon has done really good service. I've got through, I bought these right at the beginning of last month and they've done really well. So we're going to start with the outer ribbon in our wide blue. And we want about 18 inches. So my cutting mat is 12 inches. And then another 6 inches takes us to about there. So we're going to cut that there. You need slightly less of the white ribbon. I think I used about 12 inches because it's going in the middle, so it doesn't need to be as white. And I'll cut that there. And then we need for the centre a red button. So this is my little bag of buttons. Again, I bought these at the start of doing Jubilee things and they've lasted really well. So I want quite a large red button for the centre. I'll use that one. And I might cut a little white button in the middle of it. Just to add a bit more white. Like that. That'll do. That'll be nice. Pop them to one side. You also need a needle and thread. Navy blue thread, obviously, for your navy blue ribbon, which I've already prepared. And then we're going to do a gathering stitch. So we start a gathering stitch with 2 or 3 small overlapping stitches, which anchors the thread so that when we pull it together, it doesn't just disappear out the other end. And then you're doing your running stitch at about 1/2 centimetre between each stitch, and you just run a running stitch all the way along the edge of your ribbon. You don't have to pull it too tight yet because we're going to gather it up later. We're going to gather it into a circle with a gap in the middle, so it doesn't have to be pulled completely tight, because you want loose gathers rather than it being totally tight. Nearly there. I hope are you all prepared now for your Jubilee? There's been lots of Jubilee things on Virtual Village Hall, so everybody should be ready. Are you having a party? Let me know in the comments. As I said, I'm sorry I can't see your comments just now, but I will reply and read them all later. So when you've done your running stitch, you want to gently gather up your ribbon until it becomes a rosette, so it goes right round itself. And as I said, we want to have a slight we don't want it pulled completely tightly. So once it will curl round into a decent sized circle with a hole about size of 10p in the middle. That's as gathered as it needs to be. I'm just going to gather up this last little bit, and then I'm going to anchor it again with a couple of stitches just over and over to make it tight. Then we're going to join the two ends where they overlap, which is about there, and on the back, oops, got the needle in the wrong position. I'm going to just do a couple more running stitches there and take them right across onto the other side so that it joins the two pieces together with a little bit more gathering. And then, oops, I'm going to just slip stitch these two ends together so that it doesn't, you don't see the raw edge from the other side. So slip stitching is just under and over like that around the two edges. And just a few, just to hold the two pieces together. Then we just do, again, a few little stitches to anchor it and cut off our thread. So that's our first layer, and you can just wiggle it about until your gathers are quite even. One thing I did forget to mention that we do need is a piece of felt, a circle of felt to provide the backing. So I'm going to just cut a freehand circle out of a piece of navy blue, about the size of, I don't know what size that is. It's about 2 inches in diameter. Big enough so that it'll sit behind all the gathers. Now, I'm going to put glue all the way around the edge, just dabbing it. And then I'm going to lay my ribbon over it and just gently press it down, trying to keep the round shape of it as much as I can. So that's now stuck to the backing. So that's giving it a bit of stability. So then you just do the same then with the white thread. I thought for my picnic, I've decided I'm going to try and make, I don't know whether you'll probably have seen in supermarkets and on adverts, one of the Jubilee cakes, just a sponge cake with cream on the top. And then they make like a Union Jack pattern with blueberries and strawberries. That's what I'm going to try and do. We'll see. I'm good at baking. I'm not awfully good at decorating cakes, so we'll see. And I generally don't put fresh cream in them, but I think it might be nice. And the weather's not looking too bad so far. Our picnic is running from 11 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. So that's over the lunchtime. And it's looking pretty good for the morning. So we should be able to get in. As I say, it's a bit of a last minute thing because nothing had got really organised in my village, but now we have. So let's see how it goes. So again, gather once you've you want to gently gather. This one is going to be slightly tighter than the other one because it's smaller. Once you've got your gathers in where you want them, you do your couple of overhand stitches to just stop the gathers unraveling. It's not very complicated sewing in anything I do. I do quite like to sew by hand, but I nearly always use the machine if I'm doing anything. So then we're just going to again join the two ends with a couple of stitches. Let's see if we can flatten it out. Probably could overlap them a little bit more so it's not too big. Sorry, I seem to be fumbling a bit. And then we are going to just do that little slip stitch running up that join to hold them in place. And tie it off. So that's all our stitching done. That's the centre of our little gathered flower. And we're going to lay it so the stitch inside is down. It's gone all wobbly. Even my gathers out a little bit more. So that is going to sit there. So we need to glue the centre again. And press down our little rosette layer. Oh, don't get that folded under on the glue. And gently press it down. Don't worry about any strings of glue because they will come off after. You can just peel everything off. So we're ready for our button centre. So as I said before, I'm going to use that large button and that will go right in the middle. So again, we've got a decent blob of glue in the middle. Putting the button on will bring the whole thing together because it will hide all the edges and the gathering. That's the trouble with pressing glue on buttons, is that tends to pop up through the holes. So, and then I'm just going to add the white button in the middle with the glue that was still there, excess. Just a little bit of trimming of ends get rid of a little bit of the glue. So these are actually going to go on my table at my picnic. My cans, one I'm going to put knives and forks in one, and the other one I'm going to put all these little various things I've made. So for the stick for this one, again, we're using a bamboo skewer. I've made mine quite long, but you can always trim the end off. Again, I'm going to just nip off that pointy end just because it is pointy. And then we seal this on the back with a very large blob of glue, that kind of, and then another blob on top. So it encases the stick. And as that sets, that'll go hard and it'll hold it on. I just don't want to move it till it's set a little bit. I'll put it to one side and then we'll see it set later. Now, when we've done, sorry, that's just hanging over the edge of the table now. We have done during these various demonstrations I've done, we've done a flower before using these two templates, which are on the last broadcast. They've probably put them on today, I hope, as well. So you'll be able to find the flower template to download. But if not, they're just 6 petal flowers that you want. So this is for our felt flowers, which are like that. So you've got 2 layers again, and then a contrasting button for your third colour. And I've got my felt here. I'm trying to use the odds and ends. That's my bunting. If I can. I'm very frugal with felt. I don't like to waste it. So if my template will fit on, it won't fit on either of those pieces. I'm going to have to cut into a new piece. I'll find some more bits here. Hang on a minute. It's always the way, isn't it, that the strips you've got are never big enough. That one might be. So I think I'll do my flower, this one, blue and red, and then put a white button in it. So this template will fit on there, and this template will fit on there just. So I'm just going to get my chalk pen to draw around it. So I tend to use a tailor's chalk because I've got this is my dressmaking tailor's chalk. But if you get it to extend a little bit, you could just do it with a pen. What we're going to do is we'll turn the marks to the back, so when we've got our flower, the marks won't show. And I'm just quickly drawing around this template with my chalk, which is a nice pink, so it shows up. This is actually quite a nice chalk pen. This it has several different colours of refills, so you can sort of choose. There you can see, I think you can see faintly my outline, and I'm going to cut that out using the pointy scissors because they get right into the little grooves easily between the petals, give you a nice definition. Just and so fit on the end of this. As I say, I'm very frugal with materials. I like to use up every bit. If you didn't have felt, you could use blue fabric if you put interfacing on the back. That would stop it fraying. But felt is easy to get, and it's brilliant for anything like this because it doesn't fray. I made lots of flowers out of felt this year. So I'm nearly there. Just round to petal number 6. And that's that. Keep all my scraps that are too small to cut out of. I keep them for stuffing. So I'm going to draw now around my red piece. This is a slightly bulkier flower, but that's okay because it's not, the chalk's not really showing on it. Sometimes certain fabrics, it's difficult to draw the chalk across them because this is particularly fluffy. But I'll probably be able to just about make out my outline, as I really know by heart what shape it is. And then I've just broken my chalk. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to be daring, and I'm going to just cut round the template by holding it on. I don't do this very often because I find it slips between my fingers, but it's going to be easier. So I'm just going to go around and just keep moving the template round as I go. Well, not moving the template, but moving my hands around it. I am quite looking forward to the long weekend because I only work 3 days a week. And this week I should have worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm actually only working Wednesday this week, which is quite nice. So I'm actually getting full advantage of the Jubilee weekend, the long weekend, which sometimes I don't with bank holidays, because if they fall on a day when I'm not working, it's not like a day off really. It's like I would be off anyway. Right, I'm just going to do this last bit by hand because it's getting a little bit difficult to work around. Okay, that's a bit wonky, but what you do next is you place your other coloured flower on the top, slightly at an angle, so that the petals, you can see the petals between. Slightly odd shape is mine. So, but that's basically what we're looking for. And again, we glue it. Do you hear the doorbell ring then? That's not warmed up enough yet. But there's enough there just to blob it together. So I said I was going to put white button in the middle. So let's see what we've got while my glue gun does actually warm up. So that's a nice big one. That could go in the middle, and then we could put maybe a red one in the middle. That's a slightly odd shape, that button. I might turn it that way up. Small blue one. Like that. Okay. I should just move them to one side. Right. So I've glued my two felt flowers together, and now I'm just going to put another bit of glue there. And that's the white button. So the glue's popped up between, so there might be enough to just stick my blue button on as well. Yeah, and that's that flower finished. So again, that's a flat flower. Same way you would glue the bamboo cane skewer onto the back. Right, so the final one we're going to do today, we're being quite quick considering that we were quite late starting. It's another felt one, but it's slightly gathered so that the petals are more pointy. So you're getting a more like a sort of pointy edge, a different shape of flower. And the way you do that is, I don't know whether you saw me making spring flowers, but again, you're gathering it. You get a strip of felt long enough, so that is what that's about 7 inches. And then we're just going to fold. We need to make 6 folds. We want them to be about 1 inch. So that's 1, 2, keeping one edge the same place all the time. 3, 4. You actually make 5 folds. I've got mine a little bit out of order now. And then the last one, maybe make it a bit smaller. What we're aiming to do is cut all the petal shapes at the same time. And we need 6 petals. Lost count now. If you look at it from the top, you can see layers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got enough layers now. And I'm using the bigger scissors because it's cutting through a lot of layers. Just move that glue gun out of the way. So what we're going to do now is, you can either get a petal template, but I'm just going to cut it by hand. You need to leave about 1/4 inch at the bottom, which you don't cut. It can be more, but it has to be at least that. And then I'm going to cut a pointed petal shape through all of the layers. And then curve it slightly down. Right. So what you end up with is what looks like a mini crown. And then you will, where's my needle with the blue thread? I might have to thread it again. Get your navy blue thread and your needle, and run a gather stitch through the bottom bit where you don't have the shape of the leaves. That one's not going to work though. That's not a sharp enough needle. Let's try this one. I've got needles with very big eyes now, so I can see to gather. So as we did with the ribbon, a couple of little stitches over and over to anchor it. And then you run your gathers along the bottom. So this is quite thin felt. It's quite a cheap felt, but I do find, even though it's cheap and papery, it is very good for making flowers because it's quite stiff. You can use the softer felt, but you get a slightly floppier flower. So once we've gathered that, we're gathering it into a tight, oops, it keeps wanting to spring away from me. We'll gather that up tightly and then fasten it off to hold the gathers, like we did earlier with the ribbon. And then we just unfold it and it goes round into a flower shape. So you want to overlap number 1 and number 6 and just put a couple of stitches in to hold the two together. And then you just kind of like spread your gathers out and shape your petals. Now, that is more or less finished. You can just put a button in the centre, but what you can do is also make a fringed centre, which I've just kind of like winging it now because I've done this with other flowers. So what you need to make a fringe centre is a strip of felt, and I'm going to say about 1/2 inch wide, because that's what I can just manage to get out of this piece of red felt. So your strip of felt is about 1/2 inch wide and it's about 5 inches long, and then you fringe it like this, just by cutting down, not all the way to the bottom, because again you want to leave a bit where you can gather it, or you can roll it. So you could roll it like that. I'm not going to go all the way, just going to give you a quick idea. You could gather it like that and then just splay it out and pop that in the center and then put a button in the middle. So that is how you can make a fringe center. But for this one, we'll just pop a button in the middle again. Again, you might want to put a little bit of felt on the back just so that you've got somewhere to stick your bamboo cane to. So I shall just cut a little circle about the size of a 50p piece. Dab some glue around it. Pop that on the back of my flower. And then I will get a white button. We'll just have a small white button. No, we need a white and a red one, don't we, really, because we've no red. So just get a little red one to go in the middle. Glue. Press that on carefully so you're not gluing your fingers. I always manage to glue my fingers. And that's it. So we've now got our 3 flowers. I think that one's set on its cane now. So you've got your very nice rosette ribbon one. You've got your flat felt one. And you've got your pointy felt one. And then you pop them in your tin. So this is my tin. So in go my flowers. They're all different heights. That's another one I made with a rose, like a rose, with just winding the ribbon round and round. I'm just going to snap these off because they are a bit long. About an inch or 2 off there. So there can go flowers in there and my flags as well. And there I am, all ready for the Jubilee. I'll just pop you up. Hi, well, I hope that they're all different ones. It will look nicer when it's arranged properly. I hope that over the last sort of 3 sessions I've done with you, you've had plenty of ideas about how to make things to decorate for your party, for your Jubilee party. And all that's left now to say is have a really good party. whatever it is you're doing, let me know in the comments. As I say, I'm going to watch it back and comment, reply to all your comments. We're having our picnic in the village, so that's our Jubilee celebration. So I hope the weather's nice and that whatever you do, you have a lovely, lovely time. Enjoy your long weekend. And this is bye from me.